It should be mandatory that every child born should actually do a DNA test and to know who the father is solely even for medical grounds. Because we need to know, because this child, is it Simon's or is it Stephen's? Stephen has a different medical history, Simon has a different medical history. Second thing is this: when it comes to even tracking the biologically even what history, medical history do they have? What medical history does Stephen have? It's easy to define it and to know definitively. Even when it comes to even court cases, or even when it comes to other issues, we know definitively this child is Simon's or this child is Stephen's. It needs to be 100% and to level out the playing field to know that indeed every man also knows this is my child, as much as every woman knows that this is their child. It should be mandatory.
Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to the brothers that's teaching this truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect and the 1/3. All right, today's lesson is going to be entitled Jealousy is a Masculine Trait. All right, jealousy is a masculine trait. That really starts with the Most High God, right? The Most High Yahweh, all right? And then to Yahweh Shai, and then the men, okay? The jealousy, the spirit of jealousy is belongs to a man more than it belongs to a woman. If a woman is in the spirit of jealousy, she is now taking on a masculine trait. All right? Because in the kingdom of heaven, woman will not be jealous. Okay? Of a man having more than one woman, you're not going to be jealous. Okay? And I'm not even trying to get too deep, right? But if the Most High is a jealous power, right? If the Lord beautifies us, and when the Lord beautifies Israel, and we're striving to be like the Most High, are we not gonna feel? Is the Lord not gonna put us in a predicament to make us feel godly jealousy? We're feeling like we're men in flesh, feeling manly or whatever. Men in flesh feeling jealous on this realm, on this level. You know. Who knows what the Lord has in stores for us? You know, obviously we're going to be perfect. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's a topic for another day. I didn't mean to go all the way over there. Point being is, when I seen this video, automatically, the scripture that talk about the spirit of jealousy, which I'm going to bring out, that's what first came to my mind. Right? And we know the realm of this world. We know we know Satan rules this world, and he allows Eve, all right, to run amok and do whatever and get away with jackets, as they call them in Jamaica, right? Giving men children that are not theirs, but putting it on them, and men thinking that's their children. Okay, but really, it's a spiritual. It's a real spiritual thing, man. I don't, me personally, I don't have children, but the Lord put a spirit in your children. Like, what if you have children as a man, right? You it's a spiritual connection you have with your child. Okay, like, I think it's a metaphysical. I think it's called metaphysical connection, meaning a metaphysical connection is an invisible bond between people, right? But objects or ideas that goes beyond the physical world and normal scientific rules. Okay, so as a man, you have a metaphysical bond with your children. If you're somewhat, not even if you know the truth or not, but you do have a metaphysical bond to your children. Okay, you have a connection, a spiritual connection that the Lord gave you to know this is my child, right? Now, as you're growing, as you see the child grow, and the child's coming to grow into themselves, right? And you're seeing, oh, well, this kid not really looking like me. Like, what's going on? Like, this kid doesn't look like me. This is weird. If you're your mind might be playing tricks on you. You're like, it's like, you're double guessing, you're second guessing, you're wondering, like, damn, is this really my child? And you don't have no proof, and you don't, everything's going smooth, so to speak. It's my woman. She loves me. She says she loves me. She'll never do anything to hurt me, right? And I'm already in too deep, right? We're married. Whatever the case, I'm just saying, men in the world, Jake in the world, that are in these predicaments, right? Not knowing that the child is not theirs because their woman committed adultery on them, man. An act punishable by death. All right, but in this world, it's allowed to run rampant, and you have men in this world that have their women commit adultery on them, and they can't do nothing about it, and they're living with that. So you have men in this world that probably had it happen to them multiple times. Okay, you can't put it past any brother that it happened to. Okay, you might not want to admit it, but you can't put it past your woman. Oh, not my woman. Oh, my woman would never do that. Well, my woman would never do that. All right. You know what I'm saying? You think that then? All we can do as men in this truth, men of the Lord in this truth, is just pray that the Lord brings forth the judgment. If our woman does fuck on us, we just gotta pray that the Lord brings forth the judgment. Everything will come to the light. That's not our job to know if our woman's fucking on us or not. Our job is to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay? The Lord will reveal in due time. You know what I'm saying? Shit's bad. You know what I'm saying? Bad shit's, I don't know. I'm just saying, bad shit started happening to your woman. Just random weird occurrences and all type of weird shit's going on. Okay? That could be a sign. I don't know. Though you didn't hear it from me. Okay? But we gotta be tapped in and dialed into the spirit. All we can do is really just depend on the Lord, man, and the Lord will reveal all things. But like I said, let me get this scripture as well. So this is the facts. Maybe it's in the street. Wife in the city. Keep it rocking. Man, what's going on, man? Thy wife shall be an harlot, not a harlot. That's why. Salakia says Amos 7:17. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword. All right, so we already know our woman is number one on Front Street selling front. Okay, do with that information as you will. Okay, and it is what it is, because it's part of the curses. Okay, all our women, they wear lashes, they wear makeup. You know what I'm saying? They wear all these things that harlots wear. What the scripture talk about? They should be known by their haughty looks. And I'm not even trying to get into all that, but you You see oh, she look good, yeah, but yeah, your woman is a modern day harlot. Okay, that's all she is. Okay, it's crazy how Esau he's actually flipped the he's made it okay to where women are it's a sick joke. It's honestly a sick psyop joke, especially for the so-called black woman. I just gotta call it straight, Eve. Okay, that the wig, the weaves, the makeup, the lashes, all of that stuff. That used to be a thing that like actual harlots, prostitutes wore, or or drag men. You see what I'm saying? It was either one of the two. Now it's like basically 99% of women. You okay? In the spirit, it's 99% of women that dress like that. So you can't even decipher. The black woman put on a rosy, what's that shit called? Blush or whatever the fuck, that red shit on their brown skin. It's like, woman, you don't turn red. Why are you putting that on? Anyways, whatever. That's between you, whatever. Like, who cares? The point being was that your woman be a harlot, and that's why you have a situation where the video are playing, where a man doesn't know if the child is his or not. At the end of the day, okay. And I wanted to, cause look how she has a little bit of a smile on her face at first. She's been straight face, okay. But as soon as he says what he says, you'll see this girl's countenance change, right?
That every child born should actually do a DNA test and to know who the father is solely even for medical grounds. Because we need to know, because this child, is it Simon's or is it Stephen's? Stephen has a different medical history, Simon has a different medical history. Second thing is this, when it comes to even tracking the biologically even what it got.
And he is making a good point in terms of like the medical history behind it, but it's deeper than that, man. Okay, but yeah, it should be done in a it shouldn't even have to be done, but it should be done. Okay, and really the DNA test was I'm gonna get it after. I'm gonna get it soon. I'm gonna show you what the real DNA test was, man. The spirit of jealousy jump on a man. Okay.
What medical history do they have? What medical history does Stephen have? It's easy to define it and to know.
And he's being very respectful and he's bringing out facts. That's one thing he's saying, right? He's not even being rude about it. He's being very intelligent and bringing out facts. And you'll see the so-called black women. You'll see their face. You already see the comments. Here. The ladies are in disbelief. Why? You know what I mean? But anyways.
Definitively, even when it comes to even court cases, or even when it comes to other issues, we know definitively this child is Simon's or this child is Stephen's. It needs to be 100% and to level out the playing.
Yeah, look at his face of disgust. Okay, what color woman is this? What color woman is that? I got this from. I got that joke from the Posh. Okay. On his recent his indoor live he did. What kind of color woman is this? What kind of color woman is this? She has a face of disbelief, disgust. How dare you? How dare you accuse me? Right? But because why? Because women are in a position of authority in this world. Okay? Given to them by Esau, Edom, of course. Jeremiah 31:22, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Right? So you have that in this realm, that a woman has compassed a man. So, she's been lifted up. She's been popped. She's been getting the goodies and getting away with murder, so to speak. So how dare you hold me accountable now? I love Esau because he doesn't hold me accountable. He lets me do whatever I want. He lets me get away with wickedness and do wickedness. But and then you're getting a, you're getting a taste of logic, so to speak. Men are more logical than quote unquote women. The Most High deprived their wisdom, but that doesn't mean she doesn't know what's right from wrong. Just because the Most High deprived their wisdom doesn't mean she doesn't know what's right from wrong. She knows what's right from wrong. It's just that she has a rebellious spirit on her. You see what I'm saying? And it is what it is. It's only going to be through this scripture that comes to mind here. Man, what's going on with this computer? Psalms 110:3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. Alright, the NLTs. It says, when you go to war, your people will serve you willingly. But really, when you're bringing forth judgment, when you have the power, when you're getting down, okay, that's when people are going to change their tune, change their ways, especially you women. You're seeing judgment, you're seeing destruction, you're seeing war, you're seeing mayhem, you're seeing chaos, you're seeing all these things. That's when you're going to want to get right and be in your feminine ways. Because women know when to turn on their feminine and their quote-unquote masculine, which they should never really be in masculine, but they know when to turn on their feminine, to put the woos and ahs on a man, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because they are feminine beings, feminine creatures that just been given power and don't know what to do with it. So they can become masculine with that power, obviously over time, which they have. You understand? That pride, that ego, that pomp, which the Lord's not dealing with, by the way. Okay. But, this is what you got right now in this world, right?
To know that indeed every man also knows this is my child, as much as every woman knows that this is their child.
Right. And why can't a man know that this is my child 100%? Why can't a man know that? He should have that right. You know what I mean? And if you are a man having children, you should get a DNA check. Cause fuck that bitch at the end of the day. If she's fucking on you, you know what I mean? Why you want to take care of something that ain't yours, man? That shit happens, man. Shit. Let's see. Proverbs 30:20 says, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. Right, man. And all you can do is just pray that the Lord bring judgment on the bitch that wasting your time, bro, at the end of the day. Because a lot of these bitches, they gonna want you, they want to be in a relationship. They want you to be their boyfriend, so to speak, in this world, right? They begging you, oh, what are we? And then, okay, you give her the time of day, so to speak, and she abuses it. She you know what I mean? She's doing wickedness behind your back. You don't even fucking know, right? But it was like, but bitch, you were begging for this shit. You get what I'm trying to say? If you didn't want this shit, just go about your business. You know what I'm trying to say? But then now you as a man, you want to have another woman. She's giving you all hell for that shit, right? Fucking bullshit. Anyways, let's get the spirit of jealousy scripture that I wanted to get. Where is it? Numbers here. It says the adultery test. Okay, this is the real DNA test. Because you gotta you gotta put yourself in this position in the ancient world, right? I don't know, maybe the man, the spirit, the metaphysical spirit that he had with his woman was pretty much a lie. Maybe he felt there was something wrong in the spirit with his woman, like, wow, she doesn't show me that same love and affection anymore. Another man humbled her. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's, you got to think of what may have been the reason why they wanted this done. A spirit of jealousy hopped on this man. It's not for no reason. Okay, maybe her box was smelling. I don't know. I don't know if it happened back then. I don't want to believe it happened in the ancient world. I don't know. Fuck. Shit. But who knows? Right? Or maybe he had a child with this woman. As a child grew, the child never looked like him. He had a son, or quote unquote had a son with this woman, and the son didn't end up looking like him. And he was like, "Yo, this ain't my son." He didn't have that metaphysical bond with that son. Like, this little nigga ain't mine. The fuck is this? So now he's looking at the bitch sideways. So that's why he's like, "Yo, the spirit of jealousy is hopping on a man." You know what I mean? So Numbers 5 and 11, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, should I get it in the NLT? They might water down the realness. So I'm just gonna stick to the KJV. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, you know what? Let's just get an NLT. I'll be able to decipher if they went off or not. Numbers 5 and 11. And the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. Suppose a man's wife goes astray, and she is unfaithful to her husband, and has sex with another man, but neither her husband nor anyone else knows about it. She has defiled herself, even though there was no witness, and she was not caught in the act. If her husband becomes jealous and is suspicious of his wife and needs to know whether or not she has defiled herself, the husband must bring his wife to the priest. He must also bring an offering of 2 quarts of barley flour to be presented on her behalf. Do not mix it with olive oil or frankincense, for it is a jealousy offering, an offering to prove whether or not she is guilty. And this is a serious thing, which we will be bringing back in the kingdom for the heathen, so they can somewhat go to sleep at night after the 1,000 years of hardcore servitude, right? At least they can get some peace of mind, knowing they can get some justice in a righteous kingdom after the 1,000 years. Okay. Because this is not gonna happen to the Israelite man. The Israelite man, his worst nightmares are gonna be pretty much over with in the kingdom. The Lord might give you a nightmare in the kingdom, of Babylon, of your hell in captivity under Esau's rulership. You wake up in a cold sweat or a hot sweat or whatever, and you wake up like, and then you realize, you look at yourself, you look at your new body, it's like, oh, you touch your face, it's like, oh, it was just a dream. You look at your woman, your wife that you're laying beside, it's like, oh, okay, it's just a dream. But you're pissed because you're having flashbacks of Babylon now, of America, of Esau's rulership, of how you could rule the earth, and now you can't go to sleep, and now you got to take it out on your slaves, man. You got to go take it out on your heathen slaves, judge them, punish them. It's like, and you have to tell them why you're doing this too. I woke up to a nightmare of heathens. The Lord put this in my mind in righteousness, but now I gotta judge you guys. I gotta punish you guys. Okay, the Lord, even though it was a nightmare, it was a dream, but it was really a vision of the past, of you in captivity. That's the type of stuff the Lord is gonna put in your mind, man, in the kingdom, in righteousness. So you have that fury and that belt to ass on these damn heathens, especially Esau, Edom. You understand? That's what's coming, man. And And pretty much, right? It says an offering to prove whether or not she's guilty. And pretty much at the end of the day, if she said, "Oh no, I don't want to do this," no, I don't want to do this. The bitch is dead either way. That's a simple and plain. There is no because she has to go through it. She has to go through it, and then to be proven that she's innocent or guilty, or don't do it. And if you don't do it, you're guilty. That's what it means. So there's like a 33% chance of getting out of there's only 3 options. You don't do it, death. You do it, you're guilty, death. You don't do it, you do it, you're clean, you're safe, you're good. And guess what? There's no strike, there's no penalty against the man either. It wasn't a false accusation. It was a spirit that was on him, and he wants to confirm. He wants to be able to go to sleep at night, man. All right? He wants to confirm that kid is his. Numbers 5 and 16. The priest will then present her to stand trial before the Lord Yahweh. He must take some holy water in a clay jar and pour it into it dust he has taken from the tabernacle floor. When the priest has presented the woman before the Lord Yahweh, he must unbind her hair and place in her hands the offering proof of jealousy offering to determine whether her husband's suspicions are justified. The priest will stand before her, holding the jar of bitter water that brings a curse to those who are guilty. The priest will then put the woman under oath and say to her, "If no man has had sex with you, and you have not gone astray and defiled yourself while under your husband's authority, may you be immune from the effects of this bitter water that brings on the curse." And the crazy part is, we don't even know what they use. Like, obviously they told us what they use, but we don't even know what they use. For real. And it's not like we can't put our form of concoction towards it, but guess what? We're dealing with harlots, man. Okay? You think you're your woman's first? Hell nah. So there's no point. We already know we already know the answer that your woman's a harlot. You just here. It just is what it is. You're in Babylon, baby. You got to deal with it. Okay? It just is what it is. So there's no point of even offering this to your woman. Okay? Because let's just say the spirit of jealousy hops on you now in this world, in this realm, right? Well, guess what? You don't know if it was from her first. You're not her first. So if you give her this, you're not your woman's first. So if you give her this, of course she's not gonna pass. Of course she's gonna be defiled. Of course she's not gonna be immune to it, because you're not even your woman's first. So who the hell are you? So how would you even know she committed adultery or not? You don't, because she's already committed adultery. You get what I'm trying to say? So you've already committed adultery. This is an adulterous generation. The woman you have has already had a man, right? So we're all adulterers here, but we're not willingly, us in this truth, okay, as an Israelite, you're not willingly going out to sleep with another man's wife. If that's that man's woman at the time, that woman is out of bounds. If that woman is quote unquote single, then she's fair play, right? A single harlot, if she's a single harlot or a married harlot, whatever. I'm just joking, but she's a single harlot, that's fair game. All right. If she's a married harlot, it's not fair game. That's that man's woman. That's that man's harlot, right? There's a saying in the world: she a hoe, but she my hoe, right? That's that man's hoe. Okay, so that's what it is, because that's all we got here in this hell. Anyways, the priest will then put the woman under oath and say to her, "If no other man has had sex with you and have not gone astray and defiled yourself while under your husband's authority, may you be immune from the effects of this bitter water that brings on the curse. But if you have gone astray by being unfaithful to your husband and have defiled yourself by having sex with another man, adultery. At this point, the priest must put the woman under oath by saying, 'May the people know the Lord Yahweh's curse is upon you when he makes you infertile, causing your womb to shrivel and your abdomen to swell blood Clot. That's serious. Now may this water that brings the curse enter your body and cause your abdomen to swell and your womb to shrivel, and the woman will be required to say, yes, let it be so. And the priest will write these curses on a piece of leather and wash them off into the bitter water. He will make the woman drink the bitter water that brings on the curse. When the water enters her body, it will cause bitter suffering if she is guilty. The priest will take the jealousy offering from the woman's hand, lift up before the Lord Yahweh, and carry it to the altar. He will take the handful of flour as a token portion and burn it on the altar, and he will require the woman to drink the water. If she has defiled herself by being unfaithful to her husband, the water that brings on the curse will cause bitter suffering. Her abdomen will swell and her womb will shrink, and her name will become a curse among her people. Okay. But this is why I gotta get the KJV, because they missed out. Numbers 5:27 KJV. And when he hath made her drink the water, then it shall come to pass that it shall be defiled, and have done trespass against her husband, that the water that causes the curse shall enter into her and become bitter, and her belly shall swell, and her thigh shall rot. That cottage cheese, baby. Right? They didn't go into the NLT. That's why, and the woman, that's, you see, they know, because women's thighs was rotten. Women's thighs are rotten now because of the semen in them. All that semen in them from multiple different men. You see women with cottage cheese booties and shit. That's why. Okay? That's what's going on. But, NLT now, when they didn't want to go too far into it, and, because they want that adultery in the church. You feel me? They want that adultery. They don't want you thinking twice about a woman with cottage cheese legs. All right. And her thigh shall rot, and the woman shall be a curse among her people. Back in the NLT. But if she has not defiled herself and is pure, then she will be unharmed. That's it. If you ain't got nothing to hide, you're gonna be fine. All right, and will still be able to have children. Exactly. You probably have quadruplets, octuplets, just cause if you have faith. That's another thing too. This is the flip side of it all, right? Let's just say a woman is going through this path and she's innocent. Okay, she has to pray to the Lord, even though she still has to pray to the Lord, even though her man, whatever, she has to go through it. She has to have faith. That really comes from her father teaching her mother, teaching her. Her mother putting the fear on her to be a good woman, a good wife, and fear in the Lord. You know what I'm trying to say? And it comes down, the father, the woman, the father, the mother, and then her, and their relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, obviously set and right. But let's just say that woman is innocent. Okay. That's her walk. That's her test. You understand? And she has to have faith, and she will have faith. She has to have faith that that she will see it through. Just like, guess what? Just like this is like because we gotta relate it to men, the men of the Lord being what do you call it? Demonized. This is a demonization right here for the woman. Okay, but she has to see it through. And even through the demonization process, we have to see it through. We're the woman. You know what I'm saying? We committed adultery to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We turned our back on him. We went with other lovers, man. You understand? So we gotta have the faith to maintain and have that integrity, and don't go through the fire, so to speak. This woman's going through the fire, but really, this woman kind of represents Israel. It represents especially the men of Israel too. Okay, this scripture, man, it's crazy how I'm reading this, and then this is just coming to me. So Tawar Brakatah Yahweh Shem Yahushai for that, man. Okay? But we gotta have that faith, that integrity, just like this woman here. Whoever, if she is, what's it called, so to speak, you know, that faith. If she is innocent, we know we're innocent, but we're gonna be demonized. But we know it's coming, right? And just like this woman, in this case, a woman, whatever, she's innocent. She will be, she will be not forgiven, but yeah, forgiven, and she will be known that she is innocent. Okay, that's righteous, and she won't be a stain amongst the people. She, you know, oh, that woman was innocent. Okay, because nothing ever happened, so nobody could say nothing. There wouldn't be no, her image is tarnished. Her image will only be tarnished if she did adultery. But if you have nothing to hide, you go through the process and you do it. Okay. This is, I mean, you know, you gotta, you know, this is like, it is a humiliation ritual, so to speak. But you come out on top. You come out victorious, so to speak. Right? Just like Israel, we're going through our humiliation ritual on the right hand side, but the elect is gonna come out victorious. Lord will, we're of that number. Right? So this is the ritual law of dealing with suspicion. If a woman goes astray and defiles herself while under her husband's authority, or if a man becomes jealous and is suspicious that his wife has been unfaithful, the husband must present his wife before the Lord Yahweh, and the priest will apply this entire ritual law to her. The husband will be innocent of any guilt in this matter, but his wife will be held accountable for her sin. Exactly. So regardless if the husband was right or wrong on his suspicion, he's admonished. He's he's innocent of any guilt. He's not guilty. Okay. He has done no wrong. This is within a man's right. This is actually within a man's right to be able to do this. Okay. Yep. So what do we have here? You know, going back to the point being that the Lord is jealousy is a masculine trait. All right, you women just caught on maybe about 60 years ago. Okay. Exodus 34:10, and behold, where am I? Salakia. Exodus 34:14. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord Yahweh, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Yahweh. Okay. Exodus 34:14. NLT. You must worship no other gods, for the Lord Yahweh, whose very name is jealous, is a God who is jealous about his relationship with you. Exactly. So that's the Most High. Okay. Which is a man. Okay. He's in a masculine form. He's a man. Okay. It says the Lord is a man of war, right? So he's a man. He comes in the image of a man. He's a man. Okay. So, and he put that on this, he put that on Yahweh Shai, and then he put that on the men as well. Okay, that masculine spirit of jealousy. Okay, he gave us that trait. All right. And I'm not saying women can't have that feeling, but really it's not meant for you. Okay, you just got a bit of power now, and you're on a power trip, and now you're getting jealous. You think you can dictate shit. All right, and it is what it is, because it's part of our hell. It's part of our captivity in this walk, anyways, man. But we don't care, man. It's death to a traitor, man. At the end of the day, we're not gonna shed tears like, Jake. If you find out your woman's committing adultery on you, man, think of it as a blessing, because see you on another side, bro. See you on another side. You're in the Lord's hands. Fuck out of here. And then even when all Jacob's trouble is out, man, it's not gonna be no play thing. Okay? All that stuff that them safeguards and stuff to save women ain't gonna be there anymore. The metropolises ain't gonna be metropolising. These mother cities ain't gonna be mother citying no more, man. Okay? You ain't gonna be able to be a city girl anymore, man. All that is gonna be over with. Simple and plain. Alright? I've got that one already. First Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh. Simple and plain. That's the order. Okay? And this backs up the order. 1 Peter 3:6. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well and are not afraid of any amazement. Okay? She called Abraham Lord. Sarah called Abraham Lord in righteousness. Okay? You know, people call the Most High Lord. Okay? So, the point being, going back to the point, still stands that jealousy is a masculine trait passed down unto men. Okay? And a man can be jealous. Okay? It really, I'll put it this way. In this world, we're forced to just eat stuff. Like, you know, it just is what it is. You know, like, fuck it, we just gotta. And that's a manly trait in itself too, to adapt to the environment. But like, you can't wrong a man for, you know, doing something. Like, you know, obviously you could wrong him because according to the scriptures, you know, everything, judgment is of the Lord now. You know, we can't take judgment into our own hands, and that's, you know, it's in the Lord's hands and Esau's hands. You can't take that upon yourself now to go and execute judgment. So Esau doesn't like vigilantes, man. You know, you being a free agent, doing your own thing. Esau don't like that, man. Esau has a system in place. Esau has a system in place. You don't want you falling out the system like that. But if you follow the system, then he has to come and reprimand you. He got to come get you. You know what I'm saying? Even though his system in place is wickedness, there's still order to his wickedness. This is just, Esau, you're dumb, man. I'm telling you. But you can't go outside the confines of his laws, his rules. You understand? That's not our lot. That's not in this setup, not in this kingdom, man. You know? But you know, there's a crime of passion. Like, there was a guy recently that just a Jake Benjamin. He just took the life of his woman because she basically was telling him, you know, the relationship's over. Like, it was his wife too. Relationship's over. Like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. I guess he was being possessive, but that's his woman. Like, scripturally, he can be possessive. That's his woman. You understand? But in this world, you have to adapt. Wisdom in this world means you have to adapt. You can't be overly possessive over his woman. Why? And the reason why he's in the predicament he's in, why, is because he never served the Lord. He wasn't actually looking after the Lord. Is he right for being possessive over? Yeah, he is. But he wasn't right for taking her on, because had he had a relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he would have never done that, and he would have had the balls to pretty much tell her, all right, you can go then, whatever, go. And guess what? You know, women are wicked, right? You tell a bitch to leave, she don't want to leave, but she want to continue to have the relationship with that man and you at the same time. That's how wicked, that's how messed up these women think, man. But the reason why she wanted to leave is because this guy loved her off. He loved her, you know, he's all on her, and she just wanted some breathing space. How did he just had his own thing going on at the same time, you know, serving the Lord, whatever, had hobbies, whatever the case may be, not making his woman his number one option, number one priority. That, you think that woman would want to leave him? Hell no. All right, you hit women with the ultimatum. All right, so where are going? You going to be here or not? They're gonna, you know, they you know, they start bugging out, because, like, what do you mean you're not chasing after me? What do you mean you're not fighting for this? What do you mean you're not fighting for this relationship? Fuck this, man. I'm fighting for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You with me? Is that you with me or you not? Are you against me? Is there, you know, you with me or not? And if not, adios. And then you give them that energy, they love you even more. They don't want to leave. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's just what it is, man. We got to use wisdom at the end of the day. We can't be loving off these women. You know, yeah, spirit of jealousy can hop on you. You can be mad. You can be this and that. But don't be putting nobody to death. Don't be doing none of that. Okay? We live in a world where we got to actually live out our, you know. Yeah, let me get that. Let me just finish it up with this. And then good to go. we're gonna end off this video. Hosea 4:14. So I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery, for themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that doth not understand shall fall. Right, just like that guy. He fell, man. Okay, he wanted to put, there was no judgment for his woman committing adultery on him, so he took the judgment into his own hands. But you fell, man. Now you're in Esau's dungeon with one of the worst cases to ever have. You're definitely gonna have to go protective custody if you're gonna want to survive in that place, because that's one of the worst charges to have, man. You took out your woman. What do you mean? And Jake in the Jake in jail, man. The last thing you ever should do is hurt women. These, you know what I mean? Even though, you know what I'm saying, big man on the phone crying over a woman. In the jail they're crying over their woman because their woman is dealing with their friend in the world now, because he's inside locked up for years, and he's on the phone with his woman. His woman telling him, I'm no longer, I can't do this. I'm with you. I'm with your friend now. Big man balling, big man doing all type of reps in the jail cell to get big, but crying over women, man. Women are powerful, bro. They go, if you let them have that power over you, don't want to ever let no woman have no fucking power over you, man. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? You want to be I's man, You want to be a man. You want to show yourselves men. You don't have no woman, you know what I mean? Run no, man. Simple and plain, man. That's what I said. Lord will this hit, though. Lord will this hit to whoever needed to hear this. Shalom. Lord will you're edified. Until the next one. Shalom.